Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I too would like to join the debate and to commend the Minister insofar as, and he has been very helpful in trying to work with a lot of us on matters relating to province and to local level government. So
thank you.
I will support him on this matter because insofar as it clarifies roles. But I wanted to just make a point here for our esteemed members of Parliament. Mr. Deputy Speaker, a few years ago, myself and some of the members of this House, and I think I saw recently some other members were taken to the United States of America on study tours. So we did the study tour in America and then in Australia. And it was after that that I proposed the block grant model for us in Papua New Guinea. It comes straight out of the US model and it comes straight out of the Australian model. But there was one thing interesting that I came across in Australia. We were given an in-depth study of Brisbane City, for example. Now, most Papua New Guineans don't know that Brisbane City is actually run by a council. It's run by a council that has a budget, very similar to our local level governments. And just outside of Brisbane, you come to another council called the Pacific Rim. Again, it's a small town and a city run by a council. And they export about $2 billion worth of product overseas annually. Now, I think when our forefathers were designing our system, and a lot of it is the work of Dr. John Momis, pertaining particularly to the calls from his own people of Bougainville. My feeling is that they adopted the Australian model. So when they designed local level governments, it was with that in mind that local level governments would actually be the service providers in those areas. Somewhere along the line in the last 20 years, you senisim, go na. Mipla oklo. Katim hap, rausim, kisim hap, putim, nilim. Emorsem, yumi oklo, fixim hap, bigoya. And in so doing, I think we've sort of degraded the role of local level governments. When I was a child growing up in my village, it was the local level governments that was keeping the airstrip open, making sure that the roads were working, and they used to use tractors mostly to deliver a lot of the services. Now, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Something you got recently working. In 2014, the Honorable Charles Zabel brought to this House and approved both the planning framework and the service delivery framework. Na mino sawe amas pla member of the Parliament I looking pinis this pla service delivery framework. Inside long service delivery framework, or line blow yumi lo planning department only broke him down straight or get a walkway different levels supposed to walk in, including DDA. So one of the things we've done in Sepik when I became the governor is to try to deploy the service delivery framework that planning department developed. So I'm happy to say that we started to strengthen local level governments, and I've encouraged a lot of the open members of Sepik to work with the local level governments in order to improve them. Now, Mr. looking bloody time will member, blow you lo parliament also post him also. Member I fix him this la road, or member I fix him bridge, or member I fix him classroom, member I fix him house blow teacher. I am really proud to stand in this house and say that in Sepik, I have local level governments that are fixing teachers' houses. I have local level governments that are fixing bridges, that are fixing roads, that are building houses, that are delivering desks into classrooms. This is done by some of the local level governments in Sepik. And it is following on from the design that's sitting there in our planning department. Yet, somehow, over the years, you may remove him now. Now I'm walk blow DDA, lo straight him or something. Honorable leaders, can you see the disconnect and the dysfunction here? All Sabeman lo planning department, na Sambla staff university, they know about these things. You just said the Honorable Josungi, a very experienced former administrator. I'm too talk. So I want to put to this House that, for me, when we sat down and spoke, and I agree with the Honorable Josungi, and this is one of the reasons why in Sepik, we wanted our provincial assembly members to be directly elected to the assembly, so that they become the voice of their local level governments. And it's aired there. Okay? So it wasn't just about appointing a president to run an LLG, it was about mandate and representation in the provincial assembly. Now bringing back neck local level government assembly. That was the reason why the people of Sepik wanted to directly elect their representatives. They didn't want the ward members to do it. And we respected it. And I want to thank the Marape government and you particularly, Minister, for supporting us. I know many Papua New Guineans have the question, well, why na? Online lo Highlands na Morobe or like him ward member by Makim LLG President Lord na all get all province lo Nambisia or like him direct election. Well, the reason for the people of Sepik, I'm not me explaining Floyd. We wanted to ensure that the voices of our local level governments, because in Sepik, we are taking an active step to rebuild our local level governments so that they deliver the services where they are. I have some LLGs that, like for example, if you look at Ngoram, Ngoram is 17,000 square kilometers. It is bigger than the autonomous region of Bougainville. It is bigger than Hela. It is bigger than Southern Highlands. It is bigger than Enga. I have Marienberg LLG, which borders Bogia in the Medang province, and then it borders Wewak district. It's a huge local level government. It's bigger than some provinces as well. So our issues are perhaps a little bit different to the issues that other provinces may face, and we respect that. And that is one of the reasons why we have been trying to do these things. And it's been an experiment. It's taken us 3 years to push funding down to the local level governments to get them to work. This year, for the first time, and again, based on the pressures coming up from our people in remote areas, the Sepik provincial government, and you will recall that previous governments used to allocate 10,000 kina per ward. I think it came on once, it went off, it came on again and went off. They called it the LLG SIP or ward SIP. This year, the Sepik provincial government, simply because we don't really have a lot of money, we are pushing down 4,000 kina to each of our wards to again try to rebuild that system that is based on the design that was approved by this parliament that's sitting in the planning department na pushing all services Kuranogotalo ward. There are smart Papua New Guineans who have sat down and thought about these problems, and they have developed solutions. And a lot of those solutions, I'm sitting down and that one myself na collecting dust start. So in sharing this with the Honorable House, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wanted to indicate that we do have solutions. And there are people who have thought about those, and they are Papua New Guinean experts. Many of them have been in the public service themselves, like the Honorable Josungi, and they have held senior positions. And then they go back and then they help to design these things for us. So some time, mibla need logo na look back lo one more walkway. All department, lo mibla, all experts, lo mibla, our technocrats have developed. And then to take those on board and try to make them work. And therefore, with that, sharing it with this Honorable House, I want to commend the Minister. And if there's any further work, Minister, that you would like to bring to the House in terms of improving the functions. Me personally, as Governor of Sepik, I want to see the local level governments function. I want to see them providing services. And one of the things I've always lamented on this floor is that all of those institutions that are supposed to be doing their work, whether it's the police, whether it's the health arrangements that we have, whether it's our local level governments, you me or leaders, you me no can try na puli mulga something come na. You me yet legislator, you me yet project manager, you me yet making more something. There are highly qualified Papua New Guineans out there sitting at various levels who can do those things. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of trust. You me try na, you me make him walk. So I'm very proud to say that at least half of the LLGs in Sepik, and I have 28 of them, Sepik has 28 LLGs, they are themselves fixing classrooms. They are themselves fixing teachers' houses. They are themselves fixing roads and bridges. And I think that's the capacity we need to build if it doesn't already exist. And if you remember, the Honorable Joe Sungi is sitting here, there was another document that was brought to this House by I think the previous Minister for Public Service to push all of our public servants down to the LLGs. It's still an active government policy. The only way we're going to do that is by making the LLGs work. There's no other way.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.